All right, good morning. Happy Monday. We are done with Sunday once again, thank God. 9 game slate today. Let's just rip the band-aid off. Another fun Sunday. 6 and 9 on picks. It was just an underdog kind of day. Padres got smoked right out of the gates. Ended up trying to make a comeback, but didn't. Orioles couldn't score a run. Scored 3 runs in an entire series versus the Rays. Red Sox lost to the White Sox. Like, what the hell? Gave up 5 runs in the top of the ninth. Brewers got beat by the Rockies. That one wasn't a huge shock. I think I said that. I could definitely see him getting to Peralta, and Freeland had a pretty good track record against the Brewers. Yankees got beat yet again, 2-1. Can't score. Phillies got absolutely smoked by the World Series champions on Sundays, the Marlins. Absolutely rocked the rookie. Got up 10 after like 3 innings. That was it. Nats ended up getting smoked. Cardinals, the Mariners just decided to hit randomly. So yeah, pretty crappy day. Underdogs were definitely the favorites today. That said, the D-backs at plus 130. Beautiful call. That was amazing. We hit the over 8. I was heavily invested in that over 8. So I felt real good when they hit it in like the 5th inning. It made me feel real good. Philly, Miami over 8. That was super sweat free. New York first 5 over 2.5. Just couldn't get the job done. They had 5-6 hits through 5 innings. Just couldn't turn it into runs. Orioles run line. Orioles and Padres. Well, that didn't work. Let's see, parlays. Atlanta ended up winning, but they won in like the 11th. Padres got beat. Orioles got beat. Mets ended up losing, and Boston ended up losing. Both blew it in, let's see, extras. So that was pretty cool. Actually, I think the Mets ended up blowing it before that. I don't know. I was watching football all day, so vicious. Anyway, we move on. Hot and cold matchups. All right, so Carlos Rodon. There's a couple of hitters hitting pretty well off Rodon. Nothing really sticks out. Freeman, Muncy hitting well off Hendricks. I think all of Major League Baseball is hitting well off Hendricks, so there's that. Cold pitcher matchups. Couple guys on the Mets that aren't hitting so well off of Bassett. A couple guys on the O's that aren't hitting so well off of Bayo. A couple of top 4 guys. Hot pitcher matchups. Chris Bassett is pitching really well against the Mets. 14 of 79, so they're hitting 177 off of him. And then Singer against the Yankees, they are hitting 303 off of him. So those are your hot, cold matchups for today. Bullpen review. Only team I'm worried about is the Reds. If we look, Tony Santillan has been pretty locked down, but he has pitched 3 of the last 4 days. So unlikely to go today. Same with Alexis Diaz, right? So 2 of their main bullpen arms should be unavailable today. I can't imagine they throw them 4 in the last 5. So that definitely hinders them a little bit. Sam Maul, who's been pretty locked down, was put on the injured list. So you lose a very good lefty. And if you got to rely on Brent Sutter and Justin Wilson as your lefty arms, you're not in great shape. They are not amazing. All right, standings review. Really the only thing that's big today, Yankees, Orioles. So the Yankees are back in the lead. So they have a half-game lead over the O's. So obviously the Yankees are in Kansas City. Baltimore is in Boston. So pretty significant series. My God, hold on. I got to make sure I'm not lost my mind here real quick. Yankees are home. I don't know what I was thinking there. Okay. Let's see. Cleveland, man, they should have a gimme series against the White Sox, but we'll talk about that. Royals, obviously big games for them. Twins are at home playing the Angels, so really good time to pick up some ground here. Let's see. Nothing really major of note on the rest. We've got off days and things like that, so let's get into the game. So 9-game slate, so pretty quick and dirty. I don't love this slate. This is a weird slate. Reds and Braves, this is just a 1 game, 1 and done, and then Atlanta is off to Washington. So Charlie Morton going up against Nick Martinez. Morton's about a 4 home ERA. Martinez a little under 3. If we look at Charlie Morton since 2022, he's 2-0. versus the Reds with a 2.60 ERA, so pitched fairly well against them. If we look at his last 4 starts, he's given up 8 earned runs, but the Braves have won 4 of his last 5 starts, so they are giving him a little bit of run support. If we look at Nick Martinez, he's had 7 earned runs in his last 4 starts. However, 6 of those 7 came against Toronto, so he has been pretty damn effective except for 1 start. Really, if we kind of expand that over his last 6 or 7 starts, he's been really good. Splits don't look terrible. Giving up a 261 average to lefties, 264 to righties. Charlie Morton, 292 to lefties, 296 to righties. So you could almost say that there's a pitching advantage towards the Reds. Loosely. Bullpen advantage is definitely towards the Braves. Both teams are very, very sporadic with the offense. You just never know what you're going to get. I like the under 8.5. That is my favorite play in this game. Let's just fade both offenses. All right, Pirates and the Marlins. It's Paul Skeens Day going up against Valente Balazzo. Balazzo about a 3.5 away ERA. Skeens about 2.5 home ERA. If we look at Balazzo, no earned runs in his last start versus Washington. Pitched really well. 8 earned runs in his last 3. However, 6 of those came at Colorado. So if we kind of expand that over his last 4 starts, he's been pretty damn solid. If we look at Skeens, 2 earned runs in his last 3 starts. 2 of those were at home. Pirates are 10-6 on Mondays. Marlins are not very good on Mondays. First game of a series, they are very bad. So I like the Pirates here, especially with Paul Skeens, but not paying $258 for a Pirates team. That's just never going to happen. If anything, I would lean Marlins, right? If I'm going to bet it, I would bet the value with the Marlins, but really don't want to touch this game. I think the over-under is pretty tight. Just everything's really tight. I don't like it. Pass. Okay. I mean, Pirates are probably going to win, but you can't pay $258 for them. All right, Rays, Phillies. Phillies struggling offensively. We saw the Rays go in and win the last 2 games in the Orioles series. Their pitching's been really good. The bullpen been pitching quite nicely. Sanchez at home, pretty good, 2.24 home ERA. Cole Sulser's just going to be kind of an opening person. He's going to go 2 innings max. If we look at Sanchez, 8 earned runs in his last 4 games, 9 earned runs in his last 3 home starts versus the Braves, the Nats, and the Yankees. We look at Sulser, hasn't allowed an earned run in 5.2 innings. So he's been this kind of opening spot person that's going to throw 2 innings, but he's been very effective. My only concern here with the Phillies is we're paying minus 205 for a team that is really hurt. I don't think we'll see Real Muto today. We shouldn't see, Alex Baum's hurt. So we've got some issues. Austin Hayes is hurt. So they're kind of patching it together. With the lineup right now, I don't really trust their bats at the moment. They've lost the last 2. That said, could they just all of a sudden pop out an offensive powerhouse? Yeah. But rather than pick a team here, I would just rather lean towards the under. Like I said, the Rays have been pitching really, really well. You do want to take the Rays when there's a lefty on the mound. They have been hitting left-handed starters. So I would lean towards the Rays at plus 170, to be honest. If we look at Mondays, Phillies are 9-6 on Mondays. I'm not sure what the Rays are. Yeah, I don't have data on the Rays, but Phillies are 9-6 on Mondays. Doesn't blow me away. Wind is blowing out, though, so that could factor in. Yeah, it just kind of feels like a spot to take Tampa Bay. All right, Royals, Yankees. So I completely botched this. For some reason, I was thinking Kansas City was the home team. Let's see. If we look at Singer, not had a great track record versus the Yankees. He's 0-2, 5.19 career ERA. He did pitch against them in June in New York. Didn't go so well. 5.2 innings pitched, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, and 6 Ks. So not great. If we look at Rodon, he has not pitched great against the Royals either. He is 2-3 with a 6.75 ERA since 2021. So not good. We look at Rodon, he did pitch against Kansas City at Kansas City on 6-10, 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run. But he's given up 10 earned runs his last 5 starts. Just very sporadic. You have no idea what you're going to get out of Rodon. I think Singer is going to be okay. Right, that said, he's given up 9 earned runs in his last 4 starts. 5 of those were against Philly. Gave up 2 earned runs versus the Guardians and the Astros. So he's had some moments where he's pitched really well. I just don't love the way that this Yankees team's looking, and I'm not going to pay minus 185 for him. So I would lean Royals, right? This game's obviously very impactful to both, but Royals have won 4 in a row. Both teams are 4-6. Kind of a coin toss, right? I just don't trust the Yankees. Splits for Rodon, 250 to lefties, 278 to righties, giving up a 357 Woba to righties, 237 to lefties. Whereas Singer, lefties are an issue for him, 369 to lefties with a 400 Woba, 283 to righties. So maybe just lean the over. We've got the wind blowing out, 2 sporadic pitchers. Yeah, maybe over, but Royals for the value. All right, Mets, Blue Jays, Paul Blackburn. Now, I just think this was supposed to be David Peterson at first, but it got changed to Paul Blackburn. And then Toronto hasn't officially named their pitcher. I believe it's going to be Chris Bassett. So everything is based off Chris Bassett here. So if we look at Blackburn, 6.41 away ERA, Bassett 4.78 home ERA. So Bassett's typically one we take him when he's on the road, fade him at home, but I don't like Blackburn. I think he's not good. Last start for Blackburn was on 8/23, so he did miss his last start. He's given up 12 earned runs in his last 3 starts. If we look at Bassett at New York, pitched against them in June. Great game. 4 hits, no earned runs, 8 Ks. That said, it was away. He's given up 10 earned runs in his last 4 starts, 4 earned runs in his last 2 away starts. So he's given up 6 earned runs in his last 2 home starts. So a little bit concerning. If we look at Toronto, they've been hitting righty starters, though. They've got 19 earned runs off the last 4 right-handed starters. So the one thing this team's been doing is hitting, and we kind of see that in the batting splits here. So 289 average over the last 14, 364 over the last 7. Only thing for them is they have not been hitting with runners in scoring position, whereas the Mets have. So they haven't been getting a ton of hits, but they've been making the most out of the hits they get. Pitch splits for Mr. Blackburn kind of scare me a little bit. 281 to lefties, 364 to righties with a 427 Woba. Bassett 269 to lefties, 200 to righties. So I just see value taking the Blue Jays, although the Metis are 9-1 in their last 10. So got to think about that. But yeah, just it's a fade of Blackburn. I don't like him. All right, Orioles, Red Sox. The Red Sox, I just don't understand what they did yesterday. They were setting up for this series. Bello was supposed to pitch yesterday. They pushed his start to today. Obviously, it's a division series, but in my mind, they have no chance of winning the division. You need to win the wild card. So they passed up what should have been an easy win against the White Sox to set up a divisional matchup. They called a AAA pitcher up. He actually pitched really well, but their bullpen usage was slated around prepping for this game. Very, very dumb. Strategy is dumb. Cade Povich going up against Brian Bello. Pitching advantage towards the Red Sox. Obviously, Povich not good. He's got a 1-7 record, 12.56 away ERA. That said, he pitched really well against the White Sox if you want to look into that. 15 earned runs in his previous 4 starts. He did face Boston on August 17th. Pitched really well. 6.1 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs. So he has been trending in a much better direction. If we look at Boston, aside from the last game against Garrett Crochet, where they just hit him really early and got 4 earned runs, they've been struggling against left-handed starters. They've only gotten 7 earned runs against the last 4 left-handed starters. If we look at Bello, he's already faced this Orioles team 3 times this year, so he's got 16 innings against them, only 5 earned runs. So he has pitched very well. There's just regression. Regression should 100% happen at some point today. If we look at the O's, 9-5 on Mondays. Red Sox are 7-7. So this is just a good spot. I think the Orioles are the better team for plus money. It's just will they hit? That's the only concern. But the over/under is at 9.5. Yeah, too much value here. I think the Orioles have to hit. Can't keep this lineup contained. Bello's not the guy that should contain them, but who knows? Should be a fun series to watch. Angels Twins. David Festa going up against Reed Detmers. Detmers was super solid in his last start versus the Dodgers. 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. He had them stymied. If we look at Festa, pitched really well. He has given up 2 or less earned runs in 7 of his last 8 starts. My only concern with the Twins is same thing. Left-handed starters, they suck. They're just not good. They've only gotten 3 earned runs against the last 4 left-handed starters they've faced. So it really just comes down to the lineup they roll out. Again, Kyle Farmer, Margot, those guys, they're just not good, man. Let's see. Detmers did face the Twins in April. Didn't go so well. 5 innings, 9 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 Ks. He does have a 6.41 ERA versus the Twins since 2022. So I would lean Twins just because the Angels do suck. We just need to see the Twins actually hit. I would lean towards the under as well with the wind blowing in. I think Festa should shut down the Angels. All right, next game. Guardians and the White Sox. God, this is a tough one. Holy cow. Joey Cantillo. Joey gives up runs Cantillo. Going up against Nick Nastrini. This is a tough one. So Cantillo's had 5 starts. He's given up 19 earned runs. So he's averaging almost 4 runs a start. Cleveland doesn't have the greatest track record against the White Sox this season. They're only 7-5. So it's not like they've been dominating them. That said, the White Sox have only scored 2 earned runs off the last 4 left-handed starters. So you've got this guy who gives up a ton of runs against a team that can't hit lefties. So that's a tough one. Got to go Cleveland here. I'm not confident enough to pull the trigger on the run line. Probably should. Maybe I like the over 8.5. I think the White Sox should get to Cantillo a little bit, and the Guardians should just go to town on this very bad White Sox team, especially with the wind blowing out. So over 8.5 would be my best bet in that game. All right, Dodgers Cubs. This should be an interesting one. Kyle loves to give up runs. Hendricks with his 8 away ERA going up against Walker, shell of himself, Bueller with a 4 home ERA. If we look at Hendricks versus the Dodgers, did face them in April, gave up 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 4 Ks. Shocker. Hendricks has given up 11 earned runs in his last 3 starts, 12 earned runs in his last 3 away starts. So he sucks on the road. If we look at Bueller, you can pretty much just pencil in at least 2 earned runs. He's given up 2 or more earned runs in 11 of 12 starts this year. Yeah, well, Cubs sticks have cooled off a little bit. We saw they were the hottest team in baseball for, maybe a week and a half, just scoring a plethora of runs. But they really struggled in the Yankee series at home, only averaged 0.67 runs a game. So obviously we had some wind issues. Wind was blowing in a lot. So you can't read a ton into that. But they didn't get a ton of hits either. So there is that. Bueller giving up a 324 average to lefties, 263 to righties. Hendricks, 389 average to lefties with a 449 WOBA, 282 average to righties with a 337 WOBA. Really hard to back the Cubs with Hendricks. I just can't do it. That said, pitch splits for Bueller look like crap. So maybe, 9.5 is a pretty steep one, but I could definitely see a case being made to take over 9.5 with the wind blowing out in this game, but I'll ultimately lead Dodgers. I just think you get into a slugfest. Dodgers just aren't the team you want to do that against. All right, let's get into the pitch sheet. What are we, 18 minutes in? All right, pitch sheet for today. I'll let you guys screenshot this. I did complete it. So this is completed. Like I said, Bassett and Nastrini haven't officially been named, so we don't have a K prop for either of them. Most likely for Bassett, it's going to be 5.5. That's just typically where he lies, although given the Mets, might be 6.5. So he's going to be somewhere between 5.5, 6.5. If it's 5.5, I like the over. 6.5, it's a little steep. I'd probably go under. Nastrini, I don't know what his line's going to be, right? He doesn't typically go for a ton of time, but most likely it's going to be somewhere in that 3.5 range. I would probably lean under if it's 3.5. All right, best bets. Give me the Angels and the Twins under 8. Like I said, just don't like the way the Twins hit lefties, and Vesta's been doing a really good job. So I can see him throwing 6 innings of maybe 1-run baseball. Detmers maybe gives up 2 or 3, and then we just kind of hope the bullpens can take us the rest of the way. Definitely has hook potential, but that's fine. Cincinnati, Atlanta under 8.5. Just 2 offensives that just aren't good. I think Morton does a pretty good job. Martinez should be fairly serviceable. I could see this being probably somewhere in like a 4-2, 4-3 Atlanta win, but I don't think it shouldn't be a blowout. Miami team total over 2.5. just a lot of value. I understand that they probably won't get to Skeens, like, but you never know with Miami. All right, if they can get one run off of Skeens, it's probably only going to go 5 innings. And this Pirates bullpen is horrendous. They are very bad. I think Miami can get 2 off the bullpen. So this is just a value play. Tampa Bay and Philly under 8. Like I said, don't really trust Tampa Bay's offense. Philly's offense is not in great shape. You got injuries. I think Sanchez throws okay, but I could definitely see Tampa Bay winning this, somewhere in the neighborhood of like 4-2, 3-2, some type of low-scoring game. And then give me Kansas City team total over 3.5 at -105. Just a fade of Rodon. I don't love Rodon, and I could definitely see Kansas City getting 3.5 with the wind blowing out. So those are bets there. Parlays, like I said, guys, not much I like today. It's an ugly board. Give me Atlanta, Cleveland money line +133. Dodgers, Minnesota money line +131. That's really all I want to put out there today in terms of parlays. Just kind of an ugly day. We could maybe find some value taking team totals and parlaying those, but yeah, a little sloppy. Fun parlay is going to be Minnesota, Cleveland, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, and the Dodgers at +644. Upset parlay, which I could, see this one hitting, would be Baltimore, Toronto, and KC at +916. Prop leans I like. Give me Belazzo under 3.5 Ks for +100. Bello over 4.5 Ks at -120. Rodon under 6.5 Ks at +106. Kansas City should put the ball in play. So I like this spot. Bueller over 4.5 hits at -145. He is over this in like 80% of his last 10 games. Bayo over 2.5 earned runs at -120. I just think he's due for regression. The Orioles are due to hit. It's Fenway, should get some runs. And then give me Ian Happ over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Just too good of a split there. Bueller is not the greatest against lefties, so I think Happ should have a decent day. And then give me Bobby Witt Jr. over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at -145. Nerfies, and we have been on a wretched tear with Nerfies. We are like 1 for 10 or some shit after basically going like 10-1. Give me Miami, Pittsburgh -120, Angels and Minnesota -140, and the Reds and the Braves at -115. All right, so that is going to do it for me. In terms of the NFL, we'll talk about all that tomorrow, but we went okay. We've got 1 prop left in that, but the touchdowns were lights out. We killed the touchdown. So I gave out 8 best bets for touchdowns. So far, 6 have hit. The only one that didn't hit yesterday was Tank Dell, and then we've got Breece Hall tonight. So NFL, Breece Hall, anytime touchdown, was +125. I haven't looked today. I would also look Breece Hall rushing yards. It was at 54.5. I would look Garrett Wilson receptions. I like that piece. I would take the under in the game total. And then, let's see, I'd probably take Jets plus, I believe it was 4. I like Jets +4. That defense is looking real good. So you could do that. Another one would be like winning margin between 1 and 13 for the 49ers. So a couple bets I was looking at. But all right, appreciate you guys tuning into the videos. As always, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. It's free. It helps me. And I will catch you in tomorrow's video.